relationship, leading to increased exports and imports between our country and China. We need to do much more with respect to opening up markets in India, but we're having that discussion, and I believe we will see benefits soon. These developments and opportunities.
BRICS has decided to do something against the dollar that will probably crash the IMF and various other financial institutions set by the West. Only countries that are part of BRICS will be safe. Therefore, just recently, South Africa's foreign minister, Naledi Pandor, has made a shocking revelation that not every country will be permitted to join BRICS and that BRICS will launch a new currency. There will be a selection criteria because BRICS members do not want Western states to become part of the alliance and disrupt it in any way. This has become a nightmare because no alliance in the world wants to be limited. There is no organization that does not want to expand exponentially except for BRICS. Therefore, it makes the Western countries quite confused about what BRICS is thinking to do quite soon. So, is it true that BRICS is launching a new currency that will instantly make the West the order takers? Let's know about that in this video. Earlier, the United States Congress presented a bill that focused on South Africa. It was a type of ultimatum for South Africa to reconsider its relations with China and Russia. It completely ignored the fact that South Africa is a member of BRICS, an economic alliance where China and Russia are members as well. South Africa tried explaining itself, but perhaps the United States felt entitled to ask South Africa to do more. Well, that's too much to ask for. Therefore, now South Africa's Naledi Pandor decided to unveil what BRICS and South Africa is thinking about, not only giving the West a shock, but dethrone them from the decision-making tables of the world matters. However, in revealing BRICS plans, she stayed careful not to send shockwaves that could make the West insecure.
On the matter of de-dollarization, I think we're not there yet. South Africa is a country that seeks to manage, particularly financial administration, very, very well. We are locked into the international financial trading system, and any changes we propose to make must be very well thought out. And so it is for that reason that you won't hear me use a term like de-dollarization. I think it sounds a bit silly. What we would like to propose is that there should be increased use, especially among BRICS member states, of own currencies for trade.
But that's the half-truth. Naledi Pandor did say that de-dollarization is currently not possible. But this does not mean it's not part of the plan. In fact, it's the BRICS strategy to ensure the West does not know it is strategically creating a mechanism to dump dollars and launch a new currency. The notion that the BRICS nations are covertly developing a new currency to challenge the dominance of the US dollar has sparked significant interest in global economic and geopolitical circles. Led by China, BRICS countries are intentionally keeping their plans confidential to prevent provoking insecurity and potential retaliation from the West, particularly the United States. That's because, for decades, the US dollar has reigned supreme as the world's primary reserve currency, bolstered by factors such as the strength and stability of the US economy, the widespread use of the dollar in international trade and finance, and the perceived security of US Treasury securities. That's a fact that cannot be ignored, and acknowledging it makes BRICS more powerful to permanently do something against the US dollar. However, this dominance has also afforded the United States significant leverage and influence over global economic affairs. Utilizing this power, the US has imposed sanctions or restrictions on countries and entities by limiting access to the US financial system or freezing assets denominated in dollars. Such leverage has been wielded in various geopolitical disputes, prompting some nations to seek alternatives to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. That's precisely where BRICS nations come in. While each member state possesses its own unique economic and political landscape, they share a common goal of challenging the prevailing global economic order, which they perceive as favoring Western powers, especially the United States. China, as the largest and most influential member of the BRICS alliance, plays a pivotal role in shaping the group's agenda and aspirations. With its rapid economic growth and expanding global influence, China has actively advocated for alternatives to the US-dominated financial system, including the internationalization of its currency, the yuan, also known as the renminbi. One potential avenue through which China and the BRICS nations could challenge the supremacy of the US dollar is by introducing a new reserve currency that offers an alternative to the dollar for international transactions and reserves. Such a move could not only diminish dependence on the dollar, but also limit the US's ability to exert economic pressure on other nations through financial means. However, openly announcing such a strategy could trigger a strong reaction from the United States and other Western powers, who would likely take preemptive measures to undermine the initiative. These measures might include economic sanctions, diplomatic coercion, or even covert operations aimed at disrupting the development and implementation of the new currency. This will delay all efforts made by BRICS. To mitigate these potential obstacles, proponents of the argument suggest that the BRICS nations have chosen a strategy of secrecy and discretion in formulating their new currency. By keeping their plans confidential until they are prepared to launch the currency, they aim to minimize the risk of external interference or sabotage from the United States and its allies. They accept not to publicize what they are doing to appear powerful. This strategy aligns with a broader pattern observed in international relations, where nations frequently engage in covert or clandestine activities to pursue their strategic objectives while minimizing the risk of detection or reprisal. In this instance, the BRICS nations are effectively engaging in a high-stakes game of geopolitical maneuvering, positioning themselves to challenge the dominance of the US dollar without provoking a direct confrontation. The implications of this covert strategy are profound and far-reaching. If successfully executed, the introduction of a new currency by the BRICS nations could fundamentally alter the global monetary landscape, reducing the prominence of the US dollar and potentially reshaping the balance of power in international affairs. But what can be the possible BRICS new currency?
But what we have done, we have assigned all our ministers of finance and the governors of our central banks to research this question and to come back with a set of proposals or recommendations to the summit of BRICS leaders this year in Russia. So we're looking into the issue without being populist about it, but ensuring that the path we decide to take will be one that will help us to continue sustaining our economy and the financial status of our currency.
Naledi Pandor has revealed that South Africa has assigned all its ministers to come up with suggestions about what the BRICS currency should look like. As BRICS evaluates its options, two distinct pathways emerge, each carrying its own set of implications and considerations. One viable option is introducing a new currency backed by gold, offering a tangible alternative to the US dollar's fiat-based system. Unlike the dollar, which can be created at will by the Federal Reserve, a gold-backed currency derives its value from the precious metal, imparting it with stability and intrinsic worth. This approach aligns with historical precedent, as gold has traditionally served as a dependable store of value, impenetrable to the interventions of central banks and government policies. Adopting a gold-backed currency holds several advantages for BRICS. Firstly, it instills confidence among market participants and investors by providing a hedge against currency devaluation and inflationary pressures. With gold serving as a tangible anchor, the new currency becomes less susceptible to manipulation and arbitrary fluctuations, facilitating smoother transactions and bolstering user confidence. Additionally, BRICS members may explore integrating this new currency into their national monetary systems, further solidifying its status as a viable alternative to the dollar. Support for this option gains momentum from recent trends in the gold market, where central banks, especially those affiliated with BRICS, have been amassing significant quantities of the precious metal. This concerted effort to bolster gold reserves suggests a strategic pivot towards a gold-backed monetary regime, laying the groundwork for the eventual introduction of a new currency. By leveraging their collective gold holdings, BRICS members can establish a robust foundation for the currency, enhancing its credibility and market acceptance. But there is a second option as well. BRICS may opt for a multi-currency framework, leveraging their member states' local currencies as the official currency for trading and reserves within the alliance. This approach capitalizes on the diversity and strength of BRICS economies, harnessing the collective power of their respective currencies to challenge the dollar's dominance. By promoting the use of local currencies in intra-BRICS transactions, the alliance aims to reduce dependence on the dollar and establish a more resilient monetary framework. This option offers several advantages for BRICS member states. Firstly, it fosters greater financial autonomy and sovereignty, allowing each member to retain control over its currency and monetary policy. By avoiding the need for a single unified currency, BRICS avoids the complexities associated with establishing and managing a new supranational currency. Additionally, the use of local currencies promotes economic integration and cooperation within the alliance, strengthening regional ties and fostering mutual prosperity. That's precisely why more countries want to join BRICS. They know they don't have to give up their individual powers for a common currency. Furthermore, adopting a multi-currency framework enables BRICS to leverage the diverse strengths of each member's currency. For example, China's renminbi enjoys global prominence and liquidity, while Russia's ruble benefits from natural resource backing. By harnessing these complementary strengths, BRICS can create a robust and resilient monetary ecosystem capable of withstanding external pressures. But no matter what option BRICS decides, the US dollar will be replaced. That has become quite certain now. Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. But what has BRICS secretly done so far for its new currency? Well, BRICS has been progressing towards establishing its own central bank to facilitate the issuance of a native currency. This move reflects the alliance's ongoing efforts to diminish reliance on the US dollar and bolster its de-dollarization initiatives. Sergei Ryabkov, Russia's deputy foreign minister, recently underscored the significance of creating such a bank in the context of realizing the BRICS currency. During a press conference covered by the state-owned news agency, Ryabkov affirmed that the notion of a common currency within BRICS has not been discarded. He outlined various aspects that must be addressed for its execution, including establishing a single issuance center and forming a central bank responsible for determining a common basic discount rate.
One is tired of dollar. It's becoming a tool of influence and a tool of undermining legitimate competitive positions of the countries of different regions. It has become a tool of interference in domestic affairs and change of regimes. Incidentally, President Lula has suggested to think about alternative payments for all of Latin America. In addition to this regional initiative, he also had a global vision. BRICS is elaborating that idea, and by the next summit in October next year in the city of Kazan, foreign financial ministries and central banks are to.
The decision to establish a central bank within the BRICS alliance constitutes a significant stride towards economic cooperation and autonomy among member states. By instituting its own central bank, BRICS seeks to diminish dependence on external financial institutions and fortify its autonomy in monetary policy decisions. Additionally, the issuance of a native currency would boost trade and financial transactions within the alliance, fostering economic integration and stability. This is now becoming increasingly easier for BRICS after new members joined the bloc. Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates stand out as the top contenders within the BRICS alliance, which can make launching a new currency a reality. Although the Chinese renminbi is positioned to be the primary currency for trade, payments, and settlements within BRICS, the emergence of a new leading currency presents new opportunities. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are anticipated to engage in trade with China using the renminbi, irrespective of the denomination currency. This shift is expected to significantly impact the global supply of renminbi and further internationalize the currency. SWIFT will facilitate transaction recording, while the International Monetary Fund will manage foreign exchange reserves. Yes, BRICS will disrupt and crash the US dollar using the Western financial infrastructure, which will be quite interesting to watch. There is a chance that the Saudi Riyal and the UAE dirham might be chosen as BRICS currencies. It's because both currencies boast full capital account convertibility for residents and foreigners and have been pegged to the dollar since the mid-1990s. While the Saudi government may have reservations about internationalizing its currency, the UAE appears more receptive to market dynamics, demonstrating openness to trading in all other BRICS currencies. The UAE's robust financial center could act as a market maker, offering BRICS partners cash deposits or dirham instruments. Given historical restrictions and exchange rate risks associated with offshore renminbi holdings, dirham cash or instruments present a preferable alternative as they can be freely converted into dollars at a fixed exchange rate. The UAE financial system would need to operate similarly to the European Payments Union, accommodating both strong and weak currencies. Private financial institutions and the Central Bank of the UAE would manage these reserves, intervening where political agreements fail to provide a mechanism. But can BRICS' new currency crash the US dollar? Well, the answer is yes. Not only will it crash the US dollar, but the US economy and all institutions that are standing on the back of the dollar. Using a new currency, BRICS could remove a significant barrier hindering efforts to break away from dollar dominance. Currently, these efforts often involve bilateral agreements to conduct trade in non-dollar currencies, such as the yuan, which has become the primary currency for trade between China and Russia. However, a major obstacle arises from Russia's reluctance to source all its imports from China. Consequently, after engaging in bilateral transactions, Russia typically opts to invest the proceeds in dollar-denominated assets to facilitate purchases from the rest of the world, where the dollar remains prevalent. However, transitioning to sole reliance on a new currency for trade by BRICS members would eliminate the need for Russia to retain the proceeds of bilateral trade in dollars. In this scenario, Russia would use the new currency, rather than dollars, to acquire the remaining imports. This shift represents a significant stride toward de-dollarization. Gradually, BRICS will use a single currency that could cover all of their import expenses independently. In 2022, collectively, the BRICS recorded a trade surplus of $387 billion, primarily driven by China's contributions. Imagine what if this trade is done in a new currency. It will instantly increase demand for this currency, enhancing its value in international markets. Not only that, but new BRICS members will also use the new currency, which means the world will gradually adopt the BRICS currency. Moreover, the BRICS could achieve a level of self-sufficiency in international trade unmatched by other currency unions globally. Unlike prior monetary unions formed among countries with shared territorial borders, a BRICS currency union, given its diverse geographic composition, would likely produce a broader range of goods. This diversity presents an opportunity for a degree of self-sufficiency that has eluded geographically concentrated currency unions like the Eurozone, which registered a $476 billion trade deficit in 2022. Additionally, the BRICS wouldn't necessarily be limited to trading solely among themselves. Each member, being an economic powerhouse in its respective region, could attract business from countries worldwide willing to transact in the new currency. Now, as the BRICS alliance ramps up its efforts to decrease dependence on the dollar, a notable expert has raised concerns about a downturn in the U.S. economy. Renowned for his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki recently said that the crash has already started for the U.S. and appears to be headed for severity. Not only did he warn about the looming crisis, but he also provided guidance on navigating the challenging times ahead. His stance aligns with that of many other experts who harbor worries regarding the immediate trajectory of the U.S. economy. The vulnerability of the U.S. economy is apparent, with the Federal Reserve exercising caution regarding interest rate adjustments. Despite signals suggesting a need to relax monetary policy following a 2-year period of tightening, the Fed has delayed action, fueling concerns among observers. At the same time, the looming specter of the U.S. debt crisis casts a long shadow, with numerous experts expressing apprehensions that the situation could escalate into a more dire scenario than the current inflationary pressures imply. During such a brewing crisis in the United States, the BRICS alliance's actions to diminish the dollar's hegemony in global finance have played a role in what some experts perceive as a significant downturn in the U.S. economy. In other words, not only can the world see the BRICS currency becoming the new reserve currency, but China will also become the biggest economy in the world, and the Western financial order will collapse badly. What do you think? Will BRICS launch a new currency, or pick one of the BRICS members' local currency? Isn't it possible that it's a part of strategy to negate chances of new currency until BRICS has set the proper mechanism to launch the new currency? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on how BRICS' new currency will look like, and will the Western countries adopt it as well? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.